Hey everyone, in this video we are going to see what is model context protocol and what are the clients and servers within that space. And we are going to end this video with a Playwright MCP server. We are going to use the MCP server to interact with the LLM model like GPT or Claude to access the web browser and do the end-to-end automation for us. It can be a reference for other MCP servers, but you will get an idea about what is this MCP is all about and how you can use and implement on your automation workflow. So stay tuned to watch and understand these concepts. So let's understand this MCP model. Who introduced this MCP? Who actually uh, added this protocol? So it's actually Anthropic, the company. They introduced this protocol. The other companies have accommodated it. So they are the it's an open source. So basically anyone can use it. So it's Anthropic who introduced that. Let's jump into this model context protocol to understand what is it. It's a clear definition here. It makes the explanation very simple. It's the USB-C in the AI application world. So think of MCP like a USB-C port for AI applications. So what they mean by that is, let's say you have multiple accessories, right? You have your mobile phone, and you may have your uh, let's say the hard drive. So it's mobile, you have the hard drive, and you may have other devices like let's say your headphone. So you have multiple devices. Yeah, there could be n number of devices. And USB-C is um, let's say all these devices have an USB-C port. Okay, if it all has USB-C port, they can all can connect and communicate to each other, right? So if it's a different port, you cannot connect the other devices. So similarly, this MCP in the AI world connects different AI applications or the servers. So it connects the accessories, whatever it is. In this case, it's an headphone. So things like, let's say your browser, it connects the LLMs to the browsers and vice versa. And then it can connect your LLMs to the accessories like, for example, a database, right? You can read the data. So what's the advantage? So basically, what's the advantage of having this so that we will understand what's the advantage of this MCP? Imagine you have a mobile device and you don't have USB-C port. That restricts you in connecting your device with other accessories like headphones, hard drive, a pen drive, or let's say a mouse, a keyboard. It could be your mobile or laptop. So things like that, you cannot connect, right? You can only use the mobile device. And if there is any accessories, and in this world, there are many accessories which can expand your usage of your mobile device. You cannot use any of those accessories, right? Your mobile device stands alone, right? But with the USB-C, you have option to connect everything. So similarly here, let's say you have the chat GPT. I hope everyone uses chat GPT nowadays. So what's the limitation here? If there is no MCP server, the limitation here is whatever you ask, it will respond with a text message, or let's say it responds with a text message or like a video or like an image, but everything stays in that workspace. But can you ask ChatGPT to go outside of the ChatGPT app and then look for, say, your Gmail, right? And can you ask ChatGPT to send an email to somebody? Or can you ask ChatGPT go to so and so website, ABC website, and fetch the headlines? Or can you ask ChatGPT go to an e-commerce website and see if the product exists in that website or not? It cannot, because it does not have any connectivity to the outside world like the mobile phone in this case. But now with MCP in place, right, this MCPs, The LLMs like ChatGPT or any AI for that matter, GPT, it could be Gemini or Claude, whichever the AI that wants to expand their usage to the outer world. They can connect to the browsers or database to fetch the informations. They can connect to the external world, and they can do the work for you. And let me take you to the VS Code, for example. In VS Code, you have let me open the VS Code. Yeah, this is a VS Code. So you have an agent. So here you have ask, edit, agent. We have explained this in the previous video, how I used agent to build this Playwright framework. But the limitation is it was within the workspace itself. It was within this VS Code window, but I couldn't ask the VS Code to go outside of this VS Code window and automate, inspect the element, automate everything for me. It couldn't do that. Everything was within the framework. It was very good in that, but the limitation here is I still have to go to a web page. I still have to manually view the source code and then copy the XPath and record it. Otherwise I can also use Playwright's the extension that can be used for the recording the step as well. But I don't want to touch any of those things. I want to use the LLMs, and I want the Playwright, this VS Code, to go outside of this window and do the work for me. So that's the problem that it solves. So hope you understand what is this model context protocol is about. So again, in order to deepen our understanding about what is this MCP, what is the word M and what is the word C and P stands for. So if I ask the definition from ChatGPT, the same one, it gives the very detailed explanation. Let's understand this with an example of Playwright MCP Server. So the word model here, so that when we know this, it is easy to remember what is MCP for a very long time. That's why I'm taking time to explain this. So the model here, it is the GPT models, the AI models, sorry, the LLM models or AI models such as GPT or anything. It could be text generator models, or it could be a computer vision model. So let's keep it simple. Yeah. So the model here is an algorithm trained to perform tasks like prediction, classification, which is nothing but ChatGPT or Gemini or things like that. There are other examples like Clipbot. I'm not sure what are this, but these are the other examples for model. So the word model represents, in a simple term to remember, is like GPT, Claude, or like Cursor. Those other things is called model. And what is context? So context is the language, right? It refers to state, environment, or history that surrounds a model's operation. So in simple terms, you need to provide something, right? The context to perform an action. So in our case, let's say if you're using Playwright MCP Server, the context there is the DOM, right? The accessibility tree. So I will explain how Playwright MCP works in the next video, but the context is you need to provide, let's say if you want to read the web page, it could be, the context can, in that example, can be HTML or the accessibility tree for the ChatGPT to try and inspect the element. That's the context. So in terms of the other examples, like it could be the user clicks can be a context. So the contexts are like to interact and read, to physically, to get things done. So those are the contexts. So this is the very good example for context. Hope it makes sense what the context is. So in Playwright MCP, the context include the snapshots. Like you take the screenshot and you give it to Playwright, right? You give something to process, isn't it? So like you have a you have a blender and you put to make smoothie, you need to give the context, right? So let's say a blender is the MCP server, but to process something, you need to give the context, isn't it? So your context can be your fruits or your nuts to blend something. So that's called the context. And then the protocol. Protocol is the rule, right? So what you can put in the blender, there is a rule to follow. You cannot dump everything in that. There's a rule defined between the MCP servers and the clients. So how Playwright client in this example can talk to MCP server, there's a defined rule for that. You cannot put everything in the blender and expect it. You cannot put a rock on a blender and expect it to smash it, right? So those are the protocols, the rules. So now we understand the word, model, context, and protocol, and we won't forget like what MCP is, hopefully. If you still need more explanation, you can go through the documentation, and of course have your own prompt and get your defined analogy for your sake of strengthening your understanding on this concept. So now let me explain what are the clients and servers side of it, right? So the client here is let's say the client can be the VS Code, um, or any IDE for that matter. Like a client is something that initiates this MCP concept. So if you want MCP, a client is something that sends the request, and server is that something that receives the request. So the client we are referring here is the Visual Studio Code. It could be anything else, right? So here VS Code as a host, and it is embedded with the MCP client. You cannot access MCP servers across any other, everywhere. So it has to be MCP client embedded host. Here we are talking about VS Code. There are many other examples other than VS Code. There can be a direct way of accessing from Claude or Cursor. There could be a MCP client embedded to that. VS Code in itself has its own MCP clients, and it has its MCP servers as well. So if I can go to MCP, sorry, let me go back, MCP servers. These are the MCP servers that VS Code at the moment supports. Like GitHub, you can connect to GitHub to get the repositories, issues, pull request. Basically, you do everything within the VS Code itself. So you don't have to go to the GitHub to do such operations. And we have Figma, where you can extract the UI content and generate code from Figma. This will be a good one. And we have Playwright, which we are talking about, and I'm going to show the demo in a while. So there are many MCP servers that we can use. So here, these are the servers, right? And the client is embedded within the VS Code, and VS Code in itself is kind of a client, right? So you need to have a client and you need to have a server. For example, in our diagram, client can be here to orchestrate this scene here, right? This process to orchestrate this thing. The client should be embedded within the mobile, right? So if you want to connect to other accessories, there should be an USB plug. There should be a USB port embedded within that mobile device. So that's the MCP client, so that it can connect to other MCP servers, MCP servers to get the thing done for that. So when in this case the mobile accesses the USB port and pen drive, so mobile acts as a client and others are like the servers. So that's the client. So in VS Code, if you install the latest VS Code, it is embedded in itself. So VS Code in itself is kind of a client, and using that you can access the MCP servers. So now let's see the practical example of how the Playwright MCP server can be used to extract the information from the browser. I'm going to ask the MCP server. Let me go to my other chat over here. So I'm going to ask the MCP server to open the Cineworld web page and give me the latest movies that are available as of today. Use Playwright MCP server for this task. So let's see if it does. So I was looking for the latest movie. So it is asking me the permissions. If you look at this command, run navigate to URL Playwright MCP server. So that means it is going to the Playwright MCP server. So here there is a intervention is needed. To proceed, you can manually complete the verification. Provide additional instruction if you want me to attempt bypassing. So I will manually verify it. Yeah, so it is on the web page. continue now. I'll say continue now. So what it says is currently blocked by Cloudflare security, which prevents automated access to its content. And on the following, wait for verification to complete, simulate user interface. Yes. Oh, I would like it to proceed because some websites are restricted to let the AI to access their pages. So I just said yes to work on it. Okay, running. I'm gonna ignore this part. I don't want the location to be accessed. So let's wait whether it gives me the information or not. So the catch here is like some websites are really protected and it won't allow any AI or robots to access it. Fine. So here's the detail I have. The Cineworld website has successfully loaded and the latest movies are now visible. Here are some of the latest movies available as of today. You have Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, F1 the movie 28 years later. So that's interesting. Yeah. So it got all the movies that you can see here. That's example of the MCP server. So that's the quick example of MCP server. So in the following videos, we will see more about how to initiate the servers and how to create the servers and how to use the Playwright MCP server as well. Hope this was very informative. If there is any questions, please feel free to ask and we'll see you all again in the next one.